Hello, I'm Peter Collins, Director of Resource Sharing. I've been with OCLC for just over a year now. Prior to my time here, I spent 25 years in both academic and public libraries, as well as cooperative. In that experience, I truly recognized the important role of resource sharing in fulfilling the needs of library users, which is why I'm so excited to be here with you today, Stacy.
And I'm Stacy Brunner, Senior Product Analyst. I've been with OCLC for nearly 20 years. I started out doing quality assurance and testing of various products. Now I have the privilege of working with your resource sharing team to raise the bar for delivery services by providing data-driven fulfillment to help libraries achieve significantly faster turnaround times for their users.
So, with about 20 years of library experience each, we've truly seen tremendous change over the last couple of decades. And due to the pandemic, our world has further changed, including the expanded focus on digital resources, the need for immediate access to information and personalized experiences, and all delivered in the way that users prefer.
And libraries have the need to optimize ILL workflows, achieve fast turnaround, and find efficiencies that save time and money more than ever before. That's where smart fulfillment functionality helps. Lecture halls and workplaces have become our living rooms and home offices. Users expect access to the world from wherever they are.
Yes, this captures the landscape well. Even as libraries are opening up more, we still have many library users researching and accessing material remotely. This captures the experience of reading electronic articles from library databases and those that are delivered through interlibrary loan. Or library staff members filling interlibrary loan requests from digital resources. So much of this work is being done remotely. Just as our team meetings have been changed this last year, from sitting around a table to all of us joining online, trends in libraries have been impacted. These are not new trends, but they have significantly accelerated this last year. I mean, top of the list, work-life rebalance. That is exactly what we have been talking about. We all have many things competing for our attention. Work-life balance has always been a factor, but we see this as an accelerating trend because of how much traditional work, school, and home boundaries have been blurred this last year. Library staff and library users are having to navigate a new landscape with hybrid work schedules, online classes, curbside pickup, home delivery services, and many more. There are so many ways that our work and home life intersect and overlap.
Digital transformation is happening at an unbelievable pace. Digital article delivery has always been a key component of the WorldShare ILL network. Libraries digitize and share journal articles and book chapters with each other through interlibrary loan. Then, last year, when library access was severely restricted, we saw those numbers spike. Digital delivery is an even greater focus for libraries through purchased content and resource sharing. And with resource sharing content, user expectations demand that material is delivered quickly.
Digital and on-demand services are vital. But these aren't necessarily the same thing. On-demand really captures the expectations that users bring with them to the library based on other services they interact with in the world. We will look at some examples, but one that I think is really cool and illustrates the library on-demand driving development here at OCLC is the Kapira mobile app for curbside pickup of library material. OCLC was among the first to offer pickup through Kapira Curbside when the pandemic hit. This was an on-demand trend we identified, but over this last year, it's just exploded as more and more libraries added this service to meet the needs and expectations of their users. The Library on Demand vision allowed us to be prepared for and to anticipate this accelerated trend.
Oh, that is a great example, Peter. I used Curbside at my local library this year. Even more than the technology, I was impressed with the hustle and adaptability of library staff. So impressive. So what about budget pressure? It seems like that's always a concern.
No doubt. I've been working in libraries for 25 years, and not a year goes by that we were not conscious of budget pressures. But like 2008, 2009, this year has had a major impact on the bottom line. Library budgets are so closely tied to cities, counties, universities, other entities that have been struggling this last year due to the impact of COVID. Libraries are dealing with both increased expenses for cleaning, PPE, and other protective measures, as well as cuts to central budgets. This has definitely been an accelerated trend this year, and we are making sure that we focus on providing value for libraries and library users. For me personally, this focuses on bringing value to resource sharing. It is such a classic way that libraries work together to share collection costs and continue to meet the wide-ranging needs of library users. A library doesn't need to own everything. A library can't possibly own everything. But through the OCLC Resource Sharing Network, they can get access to the world.
I think you're talking about this. Over 10,000 libraries in 54 countries are using the WorldShare ILL network. This isn't just about your local library. You can access resources from around the world.
Exactly. The reach of the OCLC network is amazing. The OCLC Resource Sharing Network expands your library collection to a global collection, providing your library users access to resources worldwide. And what is really cool is how libraries are able to create groups, networks of friends, peers, consortia, all acting collectively on the network. I mean, it is sort of like social media or the internet itself. I can use the internet for hyper-local content in my neighborhood, local businesses, staying connected with my friends. But I can also read newspapers from around the world and connect with people anywhere based on activities and unique interests. On the OCLC network, we have state groups, regional groups, even national consortia that optimize their collaboration and sharing on the WorldShare ILL network. We can help them create tight integration that prioritizes the shared user experience. But when these localized networks are unable to supply the material that is needed, it seamlessly scales to the world. I mean, look at the numbers. Over 5.4 million requests on the WorldShare ILL network. Like, how many requests a minute is that? I'll have to look it up later. Right now, I want to talk about Library on Demand. When did OCLC first identify the Library on Demand vision? I mean, it was already a core strategy when I started last year.
Sure, this strategy came together about 2 years ago, and it was really driven by the way we saw library needs and services evolving. It provides the technology, the tools, the capacity to create impactful end-user experiences. Anything, anytime, anywhere.
That is really perceptive, particularly how the 4 pillars of Library on Demand cover the scope of library services. Intuitive discovery is at the heart of any library engagement. I mean, sometimes library users know what they need based on other sources. Sometimes they are casting a wide net to find new material on a topic. Intuitive discovery really drives development in WorldCat discovery.
And not just user discovery services, WorldShare ILL also leverages the enhanced search offerings to allow librarians to find and request resources from across the network.
Great point. I don't know how many times when I was processing interlibrary loan requests that I would receive a citation, if you can even call some of them citations. There was missing information, there were misspellings. It even went as far as requests that said something like, I need that book I borrowed last fall. It was red, maybe on Rome.
Oh, those are the best. I mean, the hunt can be fun once in a while, but for real citations, we want to make sure discovery is intuitive. Or in WorldShare ILL, many times we seamlessly bypass staff having to bother with discovery by leveraging automation.
That sounds like smart fulfillment to me.
That is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to smart fulfillment.
Smart fulfillment really captures, or maybe I should say it drives, what we have been delivering in resource sharing. It is all about optimizing delivery, seamlessly connecting libraries to deliver what the user needs when they need it.
The user experience is so important. How can we create a personalized experience that allows seamless requesting, tracking, even recommendation services, all within resource sharing and discovery? These questions have led to a whole new user interface in Tapasa.
You are so right, Stacy. Having a great discovery system and a great fulfillment network means nothing if it's not user-friendly. It shouldn't matter whether it's accessed from a computer, a tablet, a phone, whatever, wherever.
Underpinning all of these services is the powerful network.
Right. We talked about the reach of the WorldShare ILL network. This is built on over 3 billion holdings in WorldCat. That's billion with a B. It doesn't matter whether you are a massive research library with holdings in the millions or a small specialized library with holdings in the thousands. With WorldCat and the WorldShare ILL network, you have access to the biggest collection in the world through resource sharing.
Yeah, that's really cool. But I want to talk about smart fulfillment.
You always want to talk about smart fulfillment.
Get used to it.
Well, I guess it makes sense. I mean, smart fulfillment is all around us. 2 years ago, we might have seen this level of tracking in something like an Uber app. But since then, it has popped up in our grocery store pickup and delivery services, in prepared food delivery services, package delivery. We have gotten used to predictive delivery services and tracking. That has spilled over into the library world, most directly with smart fulfillment.
And don't forget about user preferences. That is incredibly important in library services. A faculty member may have completely different needs and preferences from an undergraduate student. Or in the public library, a high school student working on a term paper has a different preference from her parents who are researching a home renovation project or simply looking for leisure reading.
Smart fulfillment helps to deliver what the user wants when they want it.
The speed of delivery is what's really exciting to me.
Oh man, the speed of delivery has really improved this last year. I mean, this has been a core focus of our enhancement process. And you still want to talk about it?
Yes, it just makes so much difference to library users. Delivering exactly what they want when they no longer need it is not smart fulfillment.
Well, I couldn't agree more with you there, Stacy. You are right that this just doesn't work if we don't deliver right. Let's dig into that some more in a minute. But before we do, can you tell me a little more about what this informed choices means?
Sure. Users know immediately what options they have so they can choose what best meets their needs. Smart fulfillment functionality weighs policy data, lending history, licensing agreements, format preferences, and more to present what's available. Then it predicts which libraries can deliver the fastest based on historical data.
Oh, that's really cool. We are just helping them to know all of their options to make the best selection. I love it.
And we can do that because of the network. Leveraging the scope of the WorldCat network for informing choices and the scope of the WorldShare ILL network for filling those requests, we can make it happen.
At the heart of this all is the commitment to simplify and save. Simplify discovery, simplify delivery, and save libraries by delivering value and access. No library is ever going to own all of the resources that users will require. But through WorldShare ILL, it is easy for a library to get access on demand.
We don't call it library on demand for nothing. So, smart fulfillment is a new set of delivery enhancements making fast, data-driven recommendations based on a library's local policies, item availability, network relationships, and users' needs. Included with an OCLC WorldShare ILL subscription and also available via Iliad and Tapasa, it empowers libraries to exceed the expectations of library users and staff while saving time.
OCLC is working to maximize the value of ILL services by continuing to innovate and add capabilities, Many of these are already available now, and there are more to come. By using automated processes to reduce staff intervention and letting smart fulfillment find suppliers that meet libraries' criteria, libraries can optimize ILL workflows and achieve significantly faster turnaround times.
I want to start our smart fulfillment discussion with some information about how we got here. We showed a slide a few minutes ago representing the networks within networks of 10,000 libraries worldwide. We have a handful of resource sharing products to support all different types of libraries and networks. The best ways we solve those problems in applications is always achieved through conversation with libraries. We had a vision for Library on Demand, as you've described, Peter, but the research that we did with libraries was so fundamental to building it right.
How do you engage with libraries, Stacy? I mean, how can the community contribute? Are there pilots? How do libraries get started?
We started research towards smart fulfillment in resource sharing last year. We didn't even know for sure that we would call it smart fulfillment. At the time, I called it the availability requestability pilot or request availability pilot when I could get away with it. When we stepped into the research, we realized a couple things. First, requestability is difficult. There's plenty of data available, but how that turns into an ILL yes or no is what's difficult to turn into logic. Then, availability has a lot of benefit on its own. It could be used in next lender logic to move the request to the lender who can fill it straight away. And then the data on our network showed that the delivery estimates we had to show to users really could be better.
So, can you describe how availability is so important in discovery, even in groups, to show a patron what they have access to?
Yeah, when we discussed availability in research, we heard comments like, yeah, that's available, but I wouldn't ILL from that collection. Or sometimes we would lend, but it depends on who the patron is or who the library is that's asking for it. I look here, I look there, and then I decide about whether or not we'll loan the book and for how long. As a product owner, you start to think, oh, this logic is not straightforward. This is going to be very hard, but also very important that we get it right.
When you're building systems to do automated processing, it seems like if you make it too tight, you're apt to make mistakes. How do you find the right balance? Certainly, there are some requests that will come through and a person will have to make the ILL decision. But then there are those very common, straightforward, this is checked out. How do you get that right?
Simplify, simplify, simplify. Availability was something that we already had for many libraries using WorldCat Discovery. We could just reuse the availability check in ILL. We added it to the next lender logic for any library who had availability configured. No on-off switch, it would just happen. We made a choice not to add detailed configuration, preferring instead to cover most of the no responses.
When I was talking to one of your research participants, they said that the number of times they responded no, the item was checked out, went from around 20% of total loan requests in a month down to 7%. They were super excited.
And I can get excited about that. I see nothing but opportunity. That library now has the space in their queue in the time they used to spend looking at and saying no to requests to say yes to more requests. And smart lender strings can help fill that space with yes requests.
That means that a library could get more income in terms of filling requests through OCLC ILL fee management. That has a major impact on a library's overall cost. Say more about that.
So while real-time availability is making space in your lending queue, requesting libraries using Automated Request Manager can be filling that space with requests you can fill. Smart lender strings take advantage of data that you've already set up, like local holdings records for print serials and knowledge base for e-serials. Where you don't hold the year or volume being requested, you won't be included in the lender string. And if you aren't licensed to fill from an electronic collection based on license terms, you don't get those requests either.
Why do you say libraries using automation? Because a lot of this sounds like how staff build lender strings. What's the difference?
This is the part where I get to say, but wait, there's more. Automation has gathered the symbols from your custom holdings path and knows who can fill the request. Now it's going to sort them by lenders in each group based on who can fill the fastest. It's improving fill rate and turnaround time at once.
Hold on though. Nobody wants to be punished for being really fast. When a fast library's lending queue begins to overflow, they will slow down. Will they stop getting requests? How do you control the flow?
That was a concern that we heard during research. Sorting lender strings by turnaround time absolutely had to come with load balancing. Luckily, I have colleagues who could solve this problem with math and an algorithm. Every library is assigned a queue depth that reflects how many lending requests they're recently able to respond to. And selection of the fastest supplier is also not very stringent. We might put a comparably fast lender in the first position because they have some room in their queue, say 2.5-day versus 2-day average turnaround time. Again, we simplified the implementation by using logic that works without requiring detailed configuration by the libraries.
So, load balancing does not require configuration. Real-time availability is set up by OCLC with some information from the library. What does a library need to configure in order to use Smart Fulfillment?
Automation. Libraries of all types and sizes should be using Automated Request Manager to build lender strings. It's the only way to get a smart lender string.
So, like even a small specialized library with low ILL volume? That sounds like a lot of work and maybe know-how.
It's really not. 2 automations would get it done, one for copies and one for loans. You let ARM, that's what we call Automated Request Manager, you tell ARM what shipping address and what you're willing to pay, if anything, for those requests and what groups of libraries to build a lender string from. Automatically sending to those lenders is optional, but I recommend that letting ARM build the lender string is not optional. Using automation can save you a ton of time on the borrowing side, and that frees up processing lending requests really quickly. And in fact, we already have a lot of libraries doing this. While we were working on improving turnaround time across the network, we found that libraries were already providing copy requests with fantastic service. And that was the origin of the Express Digital Delivery Program. Express is a way that we connect libraries that have the same commitment to fast delivery. Express libraries deliver article and book chapter requests in less than 18 hours or with an average delivery time of 10 hours. No other resource sharing service can match the speed, reliability, or breadth of materials. And it is already included in your WorldShare ILL subscription.
Over 1,000 libraries have qualified for Express so far and are benefiting from incredibly fast delivery. We want to see this group grow as more libraries realize the power of Express. If libraries add just one automation for copies, like you mentioned, Stacy, this could get them into this exclusive group.
Yeah, using WorldShare ILL, libraries can easily get the fastest delivery possible. With the powerful resource sharing network of more than 10,000 libraries, optimizing reliable, fast fulfillment to meet library and user preferences, Smart Fulfillment powers the only resource sharing service you'll ever need.
And if you already use these OCLC resource sharing services, there's no additional cost to make your ILL fulfillment Smart Fulfillment. For a library who wants to find out more about Smart Fulfillment and how to unlock the power of the world's largest resource sharing network, optimize delivery to meet library and user preferences, and provide accurate resources and the fastest delivery options, what should they do?
For more information on Smart Fulfillment and to stay up to date with solutions that meet evolving user expectations, visit oc.lc/smartfulfillment.
It's been so fun talking to you about Smart Fulfillment, Stacy. Thank you for joining us.
It's been great talking with everyone today.